comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright.
Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to all of you. I want to welcome you here. We are celebrating not only Shabbat, not only the Sabbath, but also Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day during the period of the Omer. For those of you who don't know, there are 7 weeks of 7 days in between the end of Passover, the time that we celebrate the exodus of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, to Shavuot, the time that we celebrate the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. And this day is a very special one. In Israel, it is marked by bonfires. There are bonfires that have been lit all over Israel. I was reading about some of them in the news, watching them on TV, in New York, elsewhere around the country. We don't have big bonfires, but we do have some fire pits that we're going to celebrate it with a little bit later tonight. And I'll be talking about Lag BaOmer a little bit later in the service. A couple of introductions. First, Shane Soldinger, board member, amazing musician and friend. He's going to be leading services with me tonight. And I hope it's the start of many other occasions we'll be able to lead services together. And I would like to offer a very heartfelt welcome to the students from Pacific Union College who have come here in their World Cultures class with their teacher, Professor Libna Arroyo, to observe our Shabbat worship. I already talked to them a little bit about the Ark and the Bima and the Torah. Ellen Elson gave them a tour of the building. Libna, where are you, Libna? Would you mind just in a word or two explain what brings you guys to our humble synagogue here tonight?
Hello, I want to thank you for allowing us to come. So I am a teacher of psychology, and I'm teaching cultural diversity. So one of the class requirements is for us to come and observe a culture that maybe we're not as familiar with. So I did a survey just to see what everybody was familiar with, and we had a couple choices, and I was like, I've been to a synagogue, I would like to take them, and your rabbi was very gracious to have us come. So thank you very much, and we're very happy to be here.
Good, welcome. And as I think I told you, this is a typical Friday night service here, but because it's also Lag BaOmer, it'll be a little bit different, both during the service and afterwards. So welcome again. So we're going to start on page 120 with the lighting of our Shabbat candles, and I would like to call up Carla Del Porto. Mimi, would you like to join her? Why don't both of you come?
Oops. Oh. We need new candles. I had it.
We need new candles. I've been lobbying for that for a while, but we'll see what we can do.
I had trouble last week, too. I know this is not kosher, but
Our friends from Pacific Union College up at Angwin must think that Shabbat worship starts with trick candles. Okay, I think you got it now. Good.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitzanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad lekner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. We're going to continue with the singing of Oseh Shalom. I don't have a page number for you for this, but it is a song that I think is familiar to many, if not most, in our congregation.
Oseh Shalom b'imrava, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom b'imrava, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, Ba'al kol Yisrael. Ba'al kol yashivei tevam.
We're going to continue on page 146 with our call to worship the Baruch Hu. And this is a family service, so I would like to call up our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. I think I see Max, Elliot, and Jonah. I don't know if I'm missing anyone else. But why don't you come up to the bima? Everyone else, please rise, page 146. And they are going to lead us in the next few prayers. You know what? You can come to the bima. Come back here. Come over here. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Why don't you just get them started? Just get them started.
Okay. I didn't know I was on. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
continue on page 148. Please join me at the top of, page 149. Please join me at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 151, please join me in English with this prayer as well at the top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivo Malachuto, Leolam Ba'er. Baruch Shem Kivo Malachuto, Leolam Ba'er. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. And you're going to lead us in the Ve'ahavta. Jonah, Max, and Elliot are going to lead us now in the Ve'ahavta on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadivarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam lefanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'nektecha v'derech v'shofrecha uv'kumecha v'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'einecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי וייתן קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר אנוכי בארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Okay, thank you guys. You can go sit. Thanks to our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, Jonah, Max, and Elliot. And we are going to turn now to page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And we continue on 158 with Micha Mocha.
Lauren and Leah's out for this one.
Thank you.
Please turn to page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Shalom. V'amidenu Shomreinu Lahi. Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Shlamecha, Uvros Aleinu Sukkot Shlamecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with the morning light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Please take a moment now for your own silent prayers and thoughts.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Simu Allah. Shalom Rav Yisrael Shiu Allah. Ki ata melech adam lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adam lechol shalom. Rav Yisrael Amcha T'siu Amlam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha T'siu Amlam. Tov b'necha leveret Yisrael lechol haladon v'mishnu shalat Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha T'siu Amlam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha T'siu Amlam. T'siu Amlam. T'siu Amlam.
At this point in our service, our thoughts turn to those in need of healing on this Shabbat. healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the bracha, the blessing of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women from our CBS family or those known and loved by our congregation: Lynn Feingold, Ilana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Michelle Camissia, Joshua Hyman, Dylan Bonnick, Diane Butler, Elsa Loach, Jesse Friedman, Tom Sabo, Yolanda Galaz, Beverly Eigner, Carl Rice, Michael Kasson, Ed Eston, Roger Widman, and Marjorie Gilberg. And if anyone has a name they wish to add, please do so. B, did you have someone you were going to add? Okay, same thing. Okay, thank you. The Misha Berach prayer is on page 511.
Misha Berach Haotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe Berach Amotenu Makor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos again to everyone, and special welcome to our visitors. Jim, another visitor from out of town. We're happy you're here with us tonight. I hope this is a good representation of Judaism in your course of world cultures. And I wanted to talk just very briefly about the holiday I mentioned before, Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the counting of the Omer. And when I was giving a little tour of the Bima and the Ark to our students from Pacific Union College, one asked me what these letters mean on the Ark, on the door, and I explained they were the first 4 letters of the Hebrew alphabet: Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yud, and they're on 2 tablets, and it's meant to represent the 10 Commandments that God hands down at Mount Sinai. And Lag also represents 2 numbers, Lamed and Gimel, which is 33. So we're in the 33rd day of the 50-day period between Passover and Shavuot. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the hallmarks of Lag BaOmer, which is not considered a major holiday, it's considered a minor holiday, but in Israeli culture, especially among young Israelis, and also among some modern Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox Jews, it's become a time of great celebration, of lighting bonfires. We're going to have a mild version of that later on. And in many ways, the fire, the light of those bonfires is meant to represent the light and the fire of Torah. And I explained how within the Ark, and I showed our students that we have the Torah within the Ark. We have the 5 books of Moses. But the Torah that we celebrate on Lag BaOmer isn't just the literal Torah, the 5 books of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It's a Torah as a whole, all of Jewish wisdom throughout the ages and extending to our own time. That is what we celebrate on Lag BaOmer, the giving of the Torah, the receiving of the Torah, and its wisdom, its light, its fire. And even though it's a fire outside of us, it's a fire that can illuminate us and it can enlighten us. There's another kind of fire, another kind of light that we also celebrate on Lag BaOmer, and that is not the fire outside of us, that's the Torah. It's the fire within us, our souls. Now, in the book of Genesis, I think many of us know that God creates Adam and Eve and all humanity, B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. Now, the Jewish mystics, the Kabbalists, interpreted that idea of being born in the image of God as containing a spark of God within us, a spark of the divine. And these two things are interconnected on Lag BaOmer. The fire, the light outside of us, the Torah, the Jewish tradition, and the sparks inside our souls, the images of God that all of us are. And the goal of Lag BaOmer, the goal of living a Jewish life, is to be open enough so that the fire, the light of Torah, will ignite the sparks within us and create an experience of inspiration, of engagement, of elevation, of even something that transports us to a different realm, a more spiritual realm. And I have a teaching I want to just share with you quickly from a book called The Sayings of the Kotzker Rebbe. And I've written about the Kotzker Rebbe before. I've taught about him. Some of you may be familiar with him. He was a very important Hasidic mystic and teacher who lived in the 1800s. And he has a teaching here that is essentially a riff, an interpretation from a line, from a verse in the book of Jeremiah, one of the prophetic books. And in the book of Jeremiah, the prophet says, speaking for God, "Is not my word like fire? Is not my word like fire?" And then the Kotzker interprets that to mean that even for the one whose heart is of stone, the Torah has the power to smash and crush it. So the idea that I think the Kotzker is trying to convey is that even if you have a heart of stone, even if you are completely indifferent to the power, to the richness of the Jewish tradition, Torah, the wisdom, the values, the teachings of our tradition, if we're open enough and receptive enough to their power, can turn and melt even the coldest heart, even the most indifferent heart. And I think that's our challenge tonight. I think that's our ongoing challenge as Jews. How do we become open enough? How do we become receptive enough so that the power of the Torah behind me, the wisdom of the ages that is there for all of us to receive, how do we become open and receptive enough to let that fire ignite the sparks within us? That is our challenge today, and that has been the challenge of Jews for millennia. And on this Lag BaOmer Shabbat, my wish to you as we leave the synagogue tonight is that you think of ways that you can become more open, more receptive to the power of our tradition and make it more of a relevant aspect within your lives. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. We are going to turn now to the Aleinu prayer on page 586, but I was going to surprise them, but I already gave a heads up to both B and Josephine and Theodora. I would love you to come up to the bima, and at this very special moment toward the end of the service, open up the ark for us. Everyone else, please rise. And then Shane is going to lead us all in the Aleinu. Oh, you're running. That's good. You're excited to do it. Why don't you guys take one side, and B, why don't you take the other side? Thank you. Very good. All right. Aleinu l'shabeach v'adon hakol latet gidula yotzei breshit shelo asanu k'yei haratzot v'lo samanu mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam pelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu b'chol ha'amonam v'anachnu korim Thank you, guys. Please be seated. Theodora, Josephine, and Bee, thank you. I know I've said this before, but I think what was once the very best Ark opening I'd ever seen has now been replaced by you. That was the best opening of the doors of the Ark I think I've ever seen in my entire rabbinic career. Really good job. We have some important announcements tonight, and I believe our board member tonight is Judy Nystrom. Is that correct? I thought it was Mark Samrick, but I don't see Mark. Judy, would you do us that honor? Or was it somebody else? Okay, Judy, why don't you read the announcements for us? Thank you. But you were so good at it. You were so good at it. I don't know.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
And I hope you're looking forward to our little celebration after. And I will say the girls did a beautiful job tonight. Should I move it?
Just speak a little louder.
Okay. Tomorrow night is the long-awaited in-person comedy night. We can't wait to get in a good laugh with you. Doors open at 5:30. Religious School and Shorashim will both meet Sunday morning at 9:30. Shabbat next week, May 27th, will be led by Rabbi Goldstein and Gordon Lustig, unfortunately, or fortunately, Gordon. There is no religious school on May 29th, and the synagogue office is closed on Monday, May 30th, in observation of Memorial Day. Most excitingly, we have 2 Shavuot events. The first will be an adult program as a Tish at 9 p.m., June 4th, here at CBS, and the second is a community Shavuot picnic in Kennedy Park, June 5th at 10:30 a.m.
And we'll be doing that with the Sonoma congregation. They'll be joining us on that day.
And don't forget that the John Denver concert will be on June 5th at 1 p.m. Make sure to get your tickets if you haven't already. We'd like to give warm wishes to this month's birthdays and anniversaries and welcome anyone celebrating any special blessing.
Thank you. Do we have, I know for sure Donna's having her birthday.
Yeah, Donna's birthday is
Yeah.
today.
Do we have any other birthdays or anniversaries for the month of May? If you do, I'd like you to come up to the bima. So Donna, would you come up? Jason? You have a birthday in May? Oh, this is for the dad. It's for Jason. Okay. Any other birthdays or anniversaries? Otherwise, Jason and Donna, you have an escort. Yeah. Okay, why don't you stand over here? And I would like to offer a special blessing to you. And then Shane, how about a little happy birthday? Lead us in that. So, Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's presence be with you and grant you peace. And let us all say, Amen. Happy birthday to both of you. What's that? Oh, this is your anniversary. Oh, well, it's anniversary. Then we won't sing happy birthday. We'll sing it for Donna. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donna. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday and happy anniversary. I saw Marius. Oh, she was out. Okay. Okay. We are going to shift gears now and turn our thoughts to those who are no longer with us, those who have died both recently and in seasons past. Our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We remember those who have died during this past year. Jimmy Rabb, Sandra Somek, Michael Gordon, Larry Elson, Arnold Trombler, Erica Cornelison, Gladys Shubin, Richard Magano, Clark Smith, Stephanie Rabb Axner, David Ernesto Kaplan, Pat Pate, Annette Goldberg, Maggie Sherman, Sandra Banco Fichtenberg, Nicholas Huff, George Montano, Dean Wilson, Norman Charney, and David Alpert. We also remember and honor the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of William Brower, Ethel Cohen, Jimmy Rabb, Allison Solomon, Albert Simon, Robert Weibel, Sam Gordon, Adele Pollock, Pauline Fink, William Rosenzweig, and Marvin Stern. And if anyone has a name they wish to share, please do so. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shmei dekudsha barichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all those in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved. And let us all say amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. We have a final song, and then we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi here, and then celebrate our Oneg outside with our little mini bonfires. And we have some great food there. I want to thank Lauren and Leah for helping to put this evening together. I think Naomi and Laura and Carolyn also helped tonight, so thanks to all of you. And a special thanks to Shane for leading services with me. So what are we going to close with tonight?
So I chose a song that, when Rabbi asked me if I know any songs that would be appropriate for tonight, I know a lot of songs, but generally none of them are really appropriate for synagogue. Until last week, I learned some, but thematically about even the light can turn the hardest stone a little lighter. And though this song was recorded about 70 years ago, it's not really contemporary, but in terms of Jewish history,
That's pretty recent.
That's pretty
recent.
6,000 years. And the guy who wrote this definitely wasn't Jewish, so I took some artistic liberty to change a couple words to make it a little more thematically. So I hope Hank Williams Sr. forgives me about this. So I saw the light. I wandered so aimless, life filled with sin. I wouldn't let my light shine in. I came like a stranger in the night. I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. I saw the light. Just like a blind man, I wandered alone. Worries and fears I claimed for my own. Then like a blind man that God gave back his sight, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. I saw the light. the gate and arrows away. Now I have traded the wrong for the right. Adonai, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Adonai, I saw.
That was perfect. You made me see the light.
Hey.
Okay, we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi together. Please rise. Shane, would you help lead us in the Kiddush?
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
L'chaim. Okay, and in anticipation of the oneg that is waiting for us outside, we're going to do the Motzi together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lahem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Hey, you did such a great job. That was great.
You did awesome.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you for having me.
I love Hank Williams. That was
Cool.
perfect.
Oh, awesome.
That
Good.
was perfect. I mean, it fit, and I loved what you did with
Adonai.
basically replaced Jesus with it.
Yeah,
It was perfect. It was perfect.